Did you guys see the ACC schedule when it got released? I saw some edits, but I didn't really see comprehensive coverage of this many places. Just some takeaways. Some of you asked me what I thought about it. Florida State does not have the easiest stretch in the world for their 2024 slate from week 5 through week 11. Mike Norvell and Florida State play SMU, Clemson, Duke, Miami, North Carolina, and Notre Dame. And they got 4 out of those 6 games on the road. And there's a stretch there. The at Duke, at Miami, North Carolina, at Notre Dame, they got 3 of 4 on the road. And that's the toughest stretch. They play, aside from themselves, they play 4 of the top 5 teams in the ACC plus Notre Dame. Also, am I reading that right, Colin? They open in Ireland? Yes, they open in Ireland. I forgot about that. So, it doesn't necessarily measure up to some of the toughest schedules like Florida has to play in the SEC, but that is a very challenging schedule for Florida State. Also, speaking of Clemson, we just touched on them a second ago. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. They should have a very spirited fall camp knowing what awaits them out of the gate. Clemson lost 2 games in the first month of the season last year, and their preseason hopes were essentially dashed before October got here, right? Well, this upcoming year, by the time the second week of October gets here, they will have already faced Georgia, NC State, and at Florida State. 3 of the first 5 games they play are against those teams. And they've still got challenges down the road, but we are going to yet again look at a Clemson schedule that is a little bit front-loaded, and even more front-loaded here. Like, you're talking about Duke versus playing Georgia in week 1. It's a lot more front-loaded here. So they got it to do. Virginia Tech continues to be that little stealth team that can fly below radar. And they have got, to me, a fairly good shot at Virginia Tech of getting in that Miami game undefeated. They play Miami on a Friday night, I believe, in week 5. Brent Pry and the boys up there in Blacksburg. Now, I'm doing them a favor. I'm going to talk about them just enough, but I'm going to try and keep it quiet. So I know we really don't want word to get out, do we? No, we do not. SMU. Breaking news, by the way. I continue to need to remind people. SMU is an ACC team this year. So they were whatever Power 5 is now. They're in it, okay? So Rhett Lashley and the boys, they're in it this year. FanDuel already has national championship odds up. What if I told you that SMU had better odds to win the title than North Carolina, better odds to win the title than Arkansas, South Carolina, NC State, Iowa, got better odds to win the whole thing than many of those teams? And you would say, who does? SMU. The team from the G5? Nope, not anymore. Not anymore. You know that means SMU's coming. And they have got a fairly favorable schedule in their own right this year. So let's not be dismissive of newcomers. I know everyone's going to take Texas and OU seriously in the SEC. Well, SMU just snuck in the back door of the ACC and may end up sneaking in the back door of the ACC title game if you're not careful. So be careful. There is a circle schedule for me in the ACC. It feels like August. This is great. There's a circle schedule. And that circle is around Fran Brown's Syracuse team. Parked in the middle of approximately nowhere. They have picked up Kyle McCord at quarterback via the portal. They got a top 25 portal class. And you know who they don't play in the ACC this year? They don't play North Carolina. They don't play Florida State. They don't play Clemson, and they don't play Louisville. I could argue those are the top 4 teams in the conference. They get Virginia Tech at home. They get Miami at home. Their toughest road game is at Pitt, and they got a bye before that. I'm not saying purchase your Syracuse ACC championship tickets. I'm just saying if you want to sound smart around the water cooler in January and February, start talking about Syracuse. And follow James Finnerall on Twitter because he'll keep you informed. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the total and complete insanity that is the travel situation in the ACC this year. We will probably have to carve out a small portion of every show between now and December we're going to call the segment Prayers Up for Cal. And Prayers Up for Cal is because they are going to take 24,000 miles worth of road trip this year. Let me pause for effect. Cal, even though they're 5 seconds from the Pacific Ocean, will be a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference this year. Trust me, it doesn't make sense, but it is a reality. They got 5 road games this year. They will travel a combined 24,000 miles and change to play those 5 games. They go to Auburn in week 2. They go to Florida State in week 4. They go to Pitt in week 7, at Wake Forest in week 11, at SMU in week 14. 24,000 miles and change. You know what else is 24,000 miles and change? The circumference of the entire globe we live on. You know, Earth. So Cal's got to fly around the world, literally, to play their games this year. Hats off to the decision makers in this sport. Yet again, they will cross a combined 28 time zones. And guys will just be told, suck it up. Suck it up. You're on an airplane. Oh, what's the difference? It's an airplane. All right, prayers up for Cal. What else can I say? Prayers up for Cal. At least everyone gets 2 bye weeks this year.